Let's go through some brand new numbers we have here at 7:30 statewide, and these numbers are coming from a couple of different sources. These numbers are still very early right here, but this is a statewide number coming from the Secretary of State's office that shows Greg Abbott ahead with 65% of the vote. Compared to Beto O'Rourke's 34% of the vote. There's a 138,000 vote difference there. Of course, we're not sure which part of the state yet this is coming from. Harris County, Houston still has another 28 minutes before polls close there, before any of those numbers are released. Dallas, Tarrant, a number of other counties across the state are also gradually turning their numbers over to the Secretary of State as well, too. Expect these numbers to change. Expect that to tighten up a lot in the next few hours. Same here with this one, the race for lieutenant governor, arguably the most important position in state government. The lieutenant governor, Dan Patrick's the incumbent. That individual gets to essentially decide what legislation the state Senate hears. Dan Patrick running for his third term against Mike Collier. Mike is a former Republican running for this seat, and these numbers with 2% in show, almost a 30-point vote difference here, but that number, again, will tighten up. Same with the Attorney General's race, Ken Paxton from North Texas running against Rochelle Garza from South Texas. These numbers still very early. These numbers will, of course, tighten up. Jason Wheeler is over on the big board. He's watching numbers come in pretty slow, Jason. Now, honestly, I anticipated a few more numbers by 7:33 at night, but that's not the case so far.
I'm not even watching numbers come in slowly, Jason. I'm watching no numbers coming in here on my map right now. I'm getting the stuff from you at this point. This computer here is also supposed to be talking with the Secretary of State's office as well as the Associated Press and sort of scraping minute by minute for new numbers to come from both of those. So we're trying to figure out, is this something on our end? Is this something on their end? Something clearly isn't talking to the other here, though, because here we are at this hour, and right now we still don't have a whole lot of results to give you. And normally just after 7, we start seeing those numbers getting dumped. And there it is. That's what it took, Jason. You just needed to come over here to us. These are the first numbers we're seeing coming in here now. You can see Governor Abbott with a 52-47 lead over his challenger, Beto O'Rourke. And we can actually see now where some of these numbers are coming from as we go county by county here. Is this thing going to cooperate with me to do that? Let's see. It's not. OK. Well, we know that it's coming from Williamson County, just north of Austin there. O'Rourke, right now at least, is in the early lead in that county. That's why that has gone blue. Let's put the heat map on there. It is a very, very light blue, almost white, which tells you that that is a razor thin margin that he has come in over Governor Abbott there. Then we have just north of the Corpus Christi area, Governor Abbott pulling a little bit ahead in that county there, and then up here in northeast Texas. But again, you do not see a lot of results coming in at this point. And we check the other races, and we're not seeing anything coming in on them right now. I do want to direct you to this, though, since we're talking about the early vote right now, and we will get more of that early vote in here. We're expecting it to come in any minute now. But let's look at some of the larger counties here in Texas coming into today. This is looking at early voting. The total population of people who can vote, and they break that down and they say this percentage of them voted early. Well, in 2018, a lot of them did that. This time, we saw a real drop-off from the percentages that we saw in 2018. These were the big counties in Texas, the big vote counties in Texas that Beto O'Rourke won in 2018 in his Senate bid. And you can see that the vote was off quite a bit in the early voting here. Harris County down 7%, Travis County down 11% percentage points from where it was in 2018. O'Rourke would really like to see that number go up a lot. And so we've been wondering, where are these voters? So it's good to know that we saw some people in line in some of these counties late into the evening. It looks like a lot of folks waited for Election Day. These are the ones, by the way, that Governor Abbott won the last time around, the big counties where he did well. And you can see the percentage decline in early voting, the early voting percentage, down anywhere from 7% all the way to 12% there in Galveston County. One thing that I really want to point out, we haven't talked about it yet, and that is the Valley. All eyes are on the Valley right now and have been for some time. That's where the only gubernatorial debate was this time around. around. Both parties really slugging it out down there to see if they can win some control, win some support. It has traditionally been a Democratic stronghold. Republicans have been making some inroads there. I thought this was really interesting because when you look at all of those other big counties, you see the early vote percentage down quite a bit from where it was back in 2018. You don't see as much evidence of that down here in the Valley. In fact, I mean, just look at this. Frio County up 1%, up 1 percentage point in early voting. Unusual there. Jim Hogg County up 16 percentage points in early voting. It's not a vote-rich county, but it just gives you an idea that folks were headed to the polls early here, up 5% there in Dimmitt County. And so, you know, we've had some competitive congressional races down there, which could, you know, affect the balance of power in the U.S. House of Representatives as well. That's a big storyline as we go through the night. We'll undoubtedly get into those competitive races down there. But again, the Valley looking like they really turned out. Curious to see what Election Day turnout was like down there, and really hoping, Jason, that we get some of those numbers in. Yeah, send me anything from Election Day, from early voting. I'll take any of it at this point. But we're going to see if we can scrape for some more of those numbers here and see what we might be able to pull in.